maybe not destroy a classic from my childhood and put an actress in there that not only hates the plot and the storyline of the movie she's in, but also seemingly hates Snow White, the character.
So it's hard to develop some sort of admiration or connection with women when they're written very two-dimensional and don't really give you enough.
To be a strong woman, you have to be this. To be, it's like, again, putting us into a box again.
It's no secret that Disney has been trying to work with Jenna Ortega for the longest time, but she has refused time and time again due to her personal beliefs. But the word has it Disney allegedly cast Rachel Zegler, yes, that actress who's been stirring up quite the controversy, because Jenna wasn't playing ball with their so-called race-swapping woke agenda. But ever since those interviews last year, Rachel's popularity has been plummeting, and Disney is once again trying to get Jenna on board. We've got all the deets, so let's get into it. In case you've been living under a rock, Jenna Ortega and Rachel Zegler are both at the center of a growing storm involving the Walt Disney Company, and the drama seems to be escalating by the day. Whispers suggest that Disney has been eager to bring Ortega on board for several projects, including the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, but she turned down those offers, allegedly due to their ideological direction. This rejection was just the start of Disney's troubles with Ortega. Now, Jenna's stand on this issue has not been surprising because Jenna has always hated being pushed into an ideology, which Disney seems to do very often. In an interview with Variety, she drew the line saying,
"Beautiful, but I don't know anything about her." So it's hard to develop some sort of admiration or connection with women when they're written very two-dimensional.
Meanwhile, Disney has been dealing with internal upheavals and cost-cutting measures under CEO Bob Iger. These changes have only added fuel to the fire. In a surprising twist, it seems that Ortega took action against Zegler behind the scenes, sparking a conflict just before Zegler was reportedly fired and dropped from multiple Disney projects. One of these projects was set to feature Zegler in a starring role, making the situation even more contentious. With all these developments, it's clear that Disney's efforts to manage its talent and projects are hitting some major bumps in the road. Anyway, another reason that makes Jenna a great choice over Rachel's erratic behavior is that Jenna has been in this industry for years, and she has been media trained, unlike Rachel, who literally doesn't know what she's doing.
When I did television shows when I was younger, they would take us to media training, or they would call it, Disney 101 or something like that, where you would go and they would give you a notebook and pens and pencils and paper, and they would say, okay, you're going to post 3 times a day.
You see, Rachel Zegler had her big break just recently when she starred as Maria in an adaptation of West Side Story. Before that, Rachel was relatively unknown in the industry. However, soon the opportunities started presenting themselves to her, and we all know how immature actors get when things start happening for them. From the beginning, it was clear that Rachel had never been media trained and that Rachel was a ticking time bomb. Soon, Disney pegged her as a Disney princess, sharing that she would be playing the lead role in Snow White. The initial decision was met with some backlash, but it grew to a fury as fans began to hear Rachel Zegler talk about the upcoming film. The actress shared in multiple interviews that this movie would be nothing like the original, and that the 1937 version, which had been created by Walt Disney himself, was strange to her. In addition, Zegler shared in other comments that Andrew Burnap, who plays the role of Jonathan since there is no prince, could see his role completely cut if the executives decided to do so. "I just mean that it's no longer 1937, Zegler said. "We absolutely wrote a Snow White that she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's going to be dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true." Now, she did not put an end to her nonsense there. Later on, in a subsequent interview with EW, she said, "The reality is that the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore, it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman had stood for in the world. And so when we came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader. And the reality is, Snow White has to learn a lot of lessons about coming into her own own power before she can come into power over a kingdom. Yeah, these types of comments would effortlessly get you canceled in no time. It looks like the backlash has been pretty justified, but Rachel indirectly claimed that she felt wronged. During an Instagram video, Rachel explained that her words were being painted in a negative light, intentionally. Well, to be honest, this cancel culture is really prevalent these days, but in this case, Rachel did all the work herself. Rachel Zegler has never been shy about sharing her radical takes on classic Disney tales, and now it seems like her outspoken comments are creating quite a stir. Rumor has it that Zegler's woke ideologies might have thrown a wrench into the release of Disney's highly anticipated live-action remake. According to Inside the Magic, a popular entertainment news platform, Zegler's statements have sparked internal debates at Disney, leading to speculation that her controversial viewpoints may have played a role in delaying or even halting the film's debut. It looks like Zegler's boldness in speaking her mind has made waves. Not necessarily the kind Disney wanted, an insider spilled the tea saying, "Things have been looking rough for the success of the live-action Snow White film, which has not even come out yet, nor has one trailer or any real previews. The hatred has been unprecedented, and it may lead to Disney's decision to do something unprecedented, pull the film entirely." Branding expert Carla Spite weighed in, suggesting that the current wave of extreme feminism and equality rhetoric has complicated things for the actress. According to Spite, the PR teams dropped the ball by not preparing Zegler thoroughly. She said, "Whilst it's been clear that the original Disney princess films hold old values, Disney have fallen for the trap of going to the opposite extreme to inflict strong and loaded messaging on the viewers, believing that's empowerment. There was a time when Disney actors were media trained and were thoughtful about the impact of their words, while sticking to key messaging about the films. But it seems with this total rewrite of Snow White, picturing her as a boss girl has gone to the heads of their stars. Let's not forget that the studio also faced backlash for their new approach in excluding dwarfs from the film." The studio later confirmed to The Hollywood Reporter that Snow White was taking a different approach to the 7 dwarves to avoid reinforcing stereotypes. To avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. We look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period. The outcry from audiences has been both loud and persistent, and among those voicing their disapproval is David Hand, the son of the supervising director of the original Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs from 1937. Hand didn't hold back, stating that Walt Disney himself would very much disagree with the creative direction of the new live-action film. According to Hand, the original movie was crafted with a timeless charm that his father and Walt Disney meticulously shaped, and he believes this new version is a complete departure from that classic vision. It's a whole different concept, and I just totally disagree with it. And I know my dad and Walt would also very much disagree with it. Their thoughts are just so radical now. They change the stories, they change the thought process of the characters. They're making up new woke things, and I'm just not into any of that. I find it quite frankly a bit insulting what they may have done with some of these classic films. There's no respect for what Disney did and what my dad did. I think Walt and he would be turning in their graves. And from the looks of it, fans are Team Ortega in this case. Jenna Ortega should have been Snow White. She's so beautiful and kind, and most importantly, she looks like Snow White, and she cares about the source material. While Zegler is just a whiny Karen, I pray nobody sees this abomination in theaters. That's it for today. See you at the next one. Goodbye.